Hello, we're live with another episode of Busters FunDay Cast. Oh shit! How's it going?
Yeah, what's up, Mr.
Triple M.
Triple M?
It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. How's it
Man,
going?
it's been a couple
Yeah, I'm
minutes.
back. It's been a long time, and all I have to say is, I'm gonna remix your face.
God damn, dude. God damn. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's good to have my co-host back, even if it's just temporarily for a bit. Because look, man, the dynamic duo had to come back eventually.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who is Johnny Carson without Ed McMahon? Who's Conan O'Brien without Andy Richter? I don't know who the hell Jimmy Fallon's who that guy is. Who's his I forgot. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon, so but without that guy, things wouldn't work together. So we're back. And this is the old school cast. We're talking about back in the day, how things were different back in the day than they are now. Some other people might join in who are younger than us, even if we're lucky. So let's, without much ado, let's get to it. But before we do, I'm gonna let my long missing co-host. We thought he was lost in an alternate dimension, but he managed to somehow make it back. Introduce himself first, and then Kenoshi, and then, well, you know who I am. I'm not going to introduce myself. If you don't know who BS Busters is all about with me involved, then you don't know. So go ahead, Triple M, go.
Yeah, Lone Wolf is here. That's all I got to say. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
All right, okay, go ahead, Kenoshi.
Oh, it's Nashi Bonanito here to say, glad to be back on another BS Busters.
All right, okay. So Yin Yang Yao, aka Jewel Rider Moonstar, may drop in sometime, along with some other people, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But without much ado, let's get to it. Now this is the BS Busters FunDay Cast. It was supposed to happen last week, but to tell you the truth, shit happened. I got busy, whatever. So I moved it to this week. So we're back, and the topic of this cast is back in the day versus now. We're contrasting and comparing, three avenues: TV, movies, video games. So I guess we'll start with TV first.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, and I mean, let's start with something easy. Have you noticed that there's no cartoon blocks nowadays?
So maybe on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, but yeah. Yeah,
Like,
pretty much
even
that.
Nickelodeon doesn't even have cartoon blocks anymore.
Well, I couldn't say that myself because I rarely watched. Actually, I haven't watched Nickelodeon for like how many years now? I think so. Decade.
Yeah, I haven't watched Nickelodeon since 2000.
But surprisingly enough, at least Cartoon Network still shows some cartoons.
Yeah, like Cartoon Network is like the last bastion of having a cartoon block, you know?
Yeah.
Because no one else really. I mean, like Nickelodeon used to have a cartoon block. Like programming, like actual programming, and like I remember, like Nick at Night. Nickelodeon used to have like cartoon blocks for all age groups. Like they showed cartoons that were like for little kids. Then they showed like cartoons for like medium age kids. Then they had cartoons for teenagers. with like Hey Arnold and Doug and shit like that. And then they had like the late night cartoons for the kids who were naughty and the kids who were a little bit your parents didn't give a shit.
Warm Shore?
Yeah, you had Snick. Remember Snick? Oh, you guys
Nick
probably
at Night?
remember.
Yeah.
Well, there was Nick at Night, but Snick gave us the kids version of Saturday Night Live called All That.
Oh, that.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah. But before all that, there was kids on the new Kids on the Block, which was like a variety show kind of thing. That was like as a kid, I remember watching.
Oh, I thought the Roundhouse was on there too.
Yeah, the Roundhouse was on there too, but the new Kids on the Block were part of the Roundhouse, and they just did these weird skit. They did these weird. They did these weird skits, and there was Snick, which there was all that, and then they had Ren and Stimpy late at night, which was, I mean, we all know Ren and Stimpy. The only show, the only show that had a character who essentially that had an entire episode that was about a dude committing suicide. Like as a kid, we loved the Happy Happy Joy Joy song, but if you ever listen to that whole song, it's about a guy committing suicide.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I really am glad I don't read between some films because
I mean, I liked Ren and Stimpy. I thought that Nickelodeon had cartoons that like kids could watch them, but some of them had dealt with some very mature themes, like Rocko's Modern Life dealt with some really mature themes.
Oh yeah. I remember those at least for the few times that I've actually watched Ren and Stimpy. It's just that I couldn't get into it long enough.
Well, I mean, Ren and Stimpy was kind of like it had a very surreal sense of humor. And
some of them even flew past my head. So yeah.
Yeah, like some of it just made no sense. It was like, okay, the Christmas episode was Yaksmas about this yak that like went into people's houses and
some things are bad.
Well, it kind of made no sense. It was like what? Okay, some of the jokes in Ren and Stimpy were so adult that the only way you could really get most of them now is that you have to, as an adult, watch them and be like, oh, that's disgusting. I'm laughing, but it's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, like back in the 90s, they were not afraid to pull some punches when it came to cartoons. Like they weren't, they didn't think kids were.
Well, I mean, even before, okay, there was this joke in the Flintstones. There was this joke in the Flintstones where essentially what happens is that Fred and
Barney.
Fred and Barney are like Fred's like, yeah, we can wear this costume and you'll have an extra head, so you'll have two heads. And Barney's like, no, wait, I'll have three heads. What do I need with three heads? and it's like a throwaway line, but you're like, wait a second. Oh, Barney, you, Barney, you. Barney. Or to quote Fred, how's it going, Bond? Exactly, yeah. Like when you think
Just
about
like themselves.
Well, you're like when you think about it, like, oh, now this could either be it's going to be Fred and Barney together, or Barney is considering another part of his body that has a head, and he just threw that away. And it's like a 60s cartoon. I mean, you know, it's like, god damn. Although the Flintstones for its time was a very it was a very progressive show, because like the Flintstones, like when Wilma and Fred finally had their baby, it was none of this stork shit.
Yeah.
Like literally, I mean, Wilma got pregnant. That means Fred and they had one bed, which meant they were fucking. Fred and Wilma were fucking. Okay, and look, Fred was an absolute oaf, but look, you saw the size of those hands and feet. Look, Wilma wasn't leaving. Look, he's a caveman. That's all I got to say. But
gentlemen,
I like the Flintstones.
Yeah, it was a good cartoon. I mean, that was like growing up, that was probably one of my favorite cartoons. That the Jetsons.
Well, there are people who didn't like the Flintstones.
Well, you know, everybody can be wrong. Yeah, you can be.
I mean, because the thing is that the Flintstones had such a surreal quality to it, but I mean, like people forget. Okay, yes, if you get past that, some of Hanna-Barbera's first cartoons, their Tom and Jerry cartoons, were racist as hell. With the black mammies, Tom, get out this kitchen, hitting Tom, you know, Southern black mammies. That was kind of racist, but once they got past that and they stopped adding humans to Tom and Jerry, and it was just like Tom and Jerry and maybe occasionally some other creature, it was great.
Tom, Jerry, Spike at times, but that was it.
Spike and his son were hilarious, because Spike had the Jimmy Durante voice. He's like, yeah, that's my boy. It's like, I'm trying to have the perfect barbecue, and you're ruining it for me. That's my boy. Like, I remember they had this one where Spike is trying to have a barbecue, and Tom is obviously being Tom, and he's trying to get Jerry, and Spike has this massive steak, and he throws it on the grill, and the grill is so hot that the steak turns into like a little like lump of charcoal. Yeah, he's like, what? Like, he has this look on his face like, what the fuck, man?
He overdid his steak.
Basically, yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, Tom and Jerry was kind of like was Hanna-Barbera's answer to.
Remember, you can't mention the Flintstones without mentioning their other side, which is
the Jetsons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Jetsons. Like, people forget that. Like, everyone's like, "Oh man, the Jetsons is awesome." The Jetsons was a blighted. Look, they lived on an Earth that was so heavily polluted that you never saw a blade of grass. Think about that. You never saw a fucking blade of grass. I was about to say,
the only grass that I saw
was when they went to another planet. Like, there was this episode where
AstroTurf.
well, I mean, yeah, there was AstroTurf. There was an episode where their son Elroy was like part of like the Wilderness Space Scouts, which is like, I guess, future Boy Scouts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They go to another planet, I think, or maybe to like a remote like wildlife preserve or something, but the rest of their world is so heavily polluted, it's garbage.
I always thought to myself before that, I'm like, why do they live all the way high up in the sky?
Because they polluted the shit out of the planet.
Oh yeah.
The
But
thing about some of Hanna-Barbera's cartoons is like, they would recycle some of their music and other cartoons. I thought it was really weird as a kid.
Yeah, because they were cheap. I mean, they all recycled shit. Like Disney would recycle character animations. Like they all, like, okay, And if they had an independent studio help them out, you'd see independent studio characters appear in other things. Like, you're familiar with the Disney cartoon, The Tailor and the Giant, with Mickey Mouse?
No, I didn't really.
The Tailor and the Giant.
I didn't watch a lot of the old Disney stuff
see
when I
that
was growing up.
Well, the Tailor and the Giant is this cartoon where there's this giant who Mickey Mouse has to fight, and he's a tailor, and like he basically he uses his tailoring skills to defeat the giant, right? and he winds up basically creating a jacket that's so tight on the giant that he can't escape from it, and he trips him and he falls down off of his cloud mountain region and falls down. Yeah, he falls down, and like the giant looks up. He's like, "Hey, watch out for that first step. It's a Lulu, right?" but here's the thing: a third-party studio helped make that for Disney, because I guess at the time they had too much shit going on. I don't know. So that giant appeared in other cartoons.
Well, the thing.
Jack and the Beanstalk story.
Well, the thing is, he didn't have computers to do a lot of the stuff for you, so everything was done by hand. So it would have been time consuming and expensive to, do a bunch of animations.
Although I'm one of those nostalgia heads, I love hand drawn animation.
You're not the only one.
I can't stand the CGI nonsense.
To be honest with you, I
putting out on TV.
Some of the CGI stuff, as long as it's not too heavy and bad, because there's good CGI and then there's reboot CGI.
Well, good.
Look, you can't do CGI on the cheap. It's just one of those things.
Well, you can do cheap CGI, or at least CGI should be used to accentuate what's already there. It should not be used to make up for something that's not there whatsoever, which is the difference between CGI when it was first used. Like one of my favorite films of all time uses a lot of CGI. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was beginning CGI. Yeah, that was beginning CGI. They basically used film effects, computers, but actual stuff. Like they'd have an actual person do the motions, and then they'd add the cartoon after the fact. But I mean, it looked like, but there was actually something there. The actor was interacting with something, and that's why it really kind of, that film really works.
That's why it's not because a lot of these things where you have cartoon characters like, Transformers, or, that's one movie that comes to mind, and, like Smurfs or whatever, it's probably character. I bet the actors probably always look confused because they're talking.
There's nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah. And I'm sorry, today's actors aren't as good as old school. Like, I remember I showed a friend of mine, she had never seen RoboCop or the reboot, right? I was like, look, we're gonna go watch RoboCop. And first I showed her the original.
A RoboCop movie?
She had never seen the RoboCop movie. Because when you when we say RoboCop, we don't mean that piece of shit that was that remake. We mean the original. So I was like, yeah, you never seen RoboCop? She's like, no. So we saw RoboCop, and then I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, I mean, why would you get mad about a reboot? I mean, a reboot would have been. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show you the reboot, and after you've seen this, and then you'll understand why I don't like the reboot. And she's like, yeah, this is terrible.
Some reboots have done. Then again, I got Powerpuff Girls 2016 to go on about.
Yeah, Cartoon Network is the only place where they can make a reboot of one of the best shows ever made and make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like way worse than the original.
If anyone told me about this 5 years ago, I thought I would laugh in their faces, only to see how can you go wrong with this?
They did. They like literally. It's like, oh, we actually made it worse. I'm like, damn, how'd you do that? They did. They made it worse.
Which I'm about because they make the Powerpuff Girls look fragile. They make Teen Titans morons. What next? At least they didn't.
They changed the voice actors of the main characters of Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup.
Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
It's not the voice actors. In fact, that's the least painful.
It's like when they changed the frontman of a band. It ruined the whole flow of the band.
And they got rid of Miss Bellum. I mean, they just. I'm like, damn, you guys just like in the Powerpuff Girls very rarely use their powers. I'm like, how the fuck? Like that's why people like Powerpuff Girls, because they use their powers against him. And of course, one of the best villains ever, Mojo Jojo. Well, actually, his full name is Mojo Kanojo Jojo. But
now, Joel, I have to tell you this. You might as well refrain yourself by asking such a question as in, what can they do bad next? Because you're not going to like the answer.
Well, the only thing they could do that could make it up for me is if they bring back Dexter's Laboratory, but let Jindy Tartakovsky just work on it, because I don't trust anyone else but the creator. Like, look, he managed to finish off Samurai Jack. The ending was bittersweet. I don't care what anyone says.
Honestly, I actually liked it overall, as in the entire thing. Though
the finishing it off. Yeah, I mean, okay, look, in a perfect world, it would have been finished, 10 years ago. Instead of them just cutting it off.
Yeah, Dexter's Laboratory might just end up on Adult Swim like Samurai Jack, with Dexter being older.
I don't think so. I mean, that was more key elements than what you're thinking of with Samurai Jack.
Yeah, but Dexter.
You could make Dexter like a teenager,
a little bit edgier,
Adult Swim, edgier.
But we already know what he looked like as a teenager. That's not a pretty picture.
Oh my God, all those pimples on his face.
Yeah, he looked
Good
like
night, everybody.
Spaghetti face. Yeah, he looked like spaghetti face.
That's not even edgy.
Pizza face. I think they could totally bring back Dexter's Lab. Because, I mean, they kind of, here's the thing. Cartoon Network tried to make something that was going to take the place of Dexter's Lab, Johnny Test, but Johnny Test sucked.
Johnny Test was a guilty pleasure to me back in high school, but it wasn't Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, look.
You just had to mention that, Pratt.
No, Johnny Test wasn't terrible. There were parts of it that were funny. Like, they had a dog named Duke that they called Dookie, which was, look, poop jokes are funny.
Said, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, poop jokes are funny, but, Johnny Quest was just...
It was so far between that, yeah.
It was such a step down, it wasn't nearly as good as the original. I mean, let's just keep it real. It wasn't...
Yeah.
And then they actually name it something that is comparable to Johnny Quest.
That was the most egregious thing. I'm like,
that really soured me.
Yeah, because Johnny Quest is one of the iconic Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Yes, I know they recycled the music and the sound effects into their other cartoons like Space Ghost, Birdman.
Birdman!
Yeah, Birdman! But
was creating music and stuff like that for cartoons, is that pretty expensive back in the day?
No, but Hanna-Barbera was cheap, and they recycled everything.
Heck,
that's why
you can even see that in their animations. Well, at least with Birdman, Space Ghost, and
Herculoids.
Yeah.
You realize they had the same enemies over and over and over again. Yeah.
But they've done it enough that I guess. Yeah, we were young back then, so at least me, I didn't pay attention much to it until recently.
Yeah.
If anything, they used plenty of restock footage to the point that And this is the weirdest thing to me. Late night show was Coast to Coast.
Yeah, Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
What was that?
With Rack, Zorak, and Moltar.
What was that dumb show with the car and the kids solving mysteries?
No.
Not Scooby-Doo. It was like the generic Mountain Dew of Scooby-Doo. Or like the generic Coke of Scooby-Doo.
Jabberjaw.
Yeah, but Jabberjaw was they were under the sea. Well, I mean, there were tons of shows with kids solving mysteries. There was
Clue Club.
No, Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah, there was Josie and the Pussycats, which actually had really good music. Which is oddly weird. You're like, my God, how does this have good music? It's a piece of shit, but it has good music.
If they actually use the band for that show, I'm going to be.
Yeah, they made a movie about Josie and the Pussycats. Had nothing to do with Josie and the Pussycats. Like, literally, not a goddamn thing to do with Josie and the Pussycats.
I don't understand people who make movies about these. Is it just because they do it for money? They just kind of dress it up like an old cartoon.
Yeah, they have an IP that they think might have an inbuilt fan base. And then they make a movie that has fuck all to do with the actual IP that they're making. The fan base is trying to go for.
Yeah, that is.
But what was that really bad movie that was based off of 80s cartoon that came out recently?
Jim and the Holograms?
Jim and the Holograms? It had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, okay? I did not like Jim. I did not like Jim and the Holograms. It was an 80s cartoon I didn't like. But I'll tell you this much. It had really good music. Like, I was recently listening to some of the soundtrack. Yeah, I started listening to some of the music of Jim and the Holograms from when I was a kid. And I was like, wow, there's a reason I like J-pop music. Because I was listening to J-pop music before I ever heard J-pop music. Because Jim and the Holograms is fucking J-pop music. Yeah, it's J-pop music. It's proto-J-pop music. Like Jim and the Holograms hit single, So Outrageous. That was on the radio, man. So Outrageous was on the radio, and it's actually a good, it's a good pop rock song. It's actually pretty good. And, I mean, and then they made a movie that didn't even have So Outrageous in it. Had nothing to do with Jim and the Holograms. And you know what the worst thing is? These dirty motherfuckers went and found fans of Jim, because you can go to Comic-Cons and find fans of Jim, and took like little testimonials of people. I'm so happy this movie's getting made. I hope it's gonna be awesome. They put them like they were gonna have a sequel to this shit. You know?
I was gonna say they did them wrong with that kind of.
They did them dirty. The 5 fans that were, really hoping for this movie to be good, they did them dirty. They did them real dirty.
Well, I mean,
there's other things that don't translate.
Well, I mean, basically, if you're a fan of an old IP, it's not going to be translated well to the silver screen, especially if it's an old cartoon like Transformers. Michael Bay's Transformer films, if you enjoy them or not, they have fucking nothing to do with the cartoons, or even the comics, or even the toys.
That's the only thing I have a problem with those films.
One of the biggest problems with those
movie.
One of the biggest problems with those movies is that the CGI is almost too much.
Well, yeah, and
like the way the robots look, it's just almost too much.
I already got enough of thinking about what movies can be made out of something that we know and love. Mortal Kombat, anyone?
Yeah, but here's the thing: Mortal Kombat is at least fun.
It was decent enough. It was kind of.
And it does.
I'm talking number 2 here.
Oh, the number 2. Okay.
Even 2 is bad. I'm not gonna deny it is not good, but it's still fun. It's like Street Fighter the movie, right? Street Fighter the movie is a terrible movie. Okay, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But But Raul Julia is so good in it. You're just like, oh man, seeing him just ham it up and overact and chew the scenery is just. Yeah.
Also, one of the few things I actually do like about that Street Fighter Van Damme film is they got the costume. They got the costume of the characters right.
Yeah, except with Colonel Guile. Yeah, Colonel Guile. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme looks nothing like.
Because if anything, we're talking about the original Street Fighter movie, not the Legend of Chun-Li.
The Legend of Chun-Li was worse than the original. Van Damme.
Yeah. I was saying that because if thinking of that movie, they're totally wrong. We're talking about the original. That was actually pretty fun, especially when you see the villain gets his. After some lines like, "For me, it was a Tuesday."
Yeah, I love that. He's got Chun-Li, and he's like, the day I came to your village was the most important day of your life, but to me, it was Tuesday. and like people are like, that's such a hammy line. But if you know anything about the Mortal Kombat like books or the Mortal Kombat like official like mangas, like M. Bison is so megalomaniacal. In the Street Fighter things, that's his personality. He's totally like everything's about him. That's his personality. That's totally. Ironically, the original movie that Capcom's like, fuck that movie, we could do so much better. And then they did Legend of Chun-Li, which was a steaming pile of shit. So,
when did that movie come? When did that movie come out?
I think it came out around 2000. 2011?
I think it's 2012.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. First, okay, look.
It really doesn't matter because
that's the only movie where Chun-Li starts out as a half Asian child, and once she grows up, like in the prologue of the movie, she looks less Asian than she did as a little girl.
Oh my gosh! You know what just popped my head? That that actor that portrayed Chun-Li in that film looks a lot like what we see in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Well, she looks like Chun-Li's stunt double, but not Chun-Li. Like, here's the thing: Chun-Li's Chinese, right? And she's really Chinese. Like, she's got the little bun and the little outfit and the like she's got those thighs that could like snap a man's neck. If she really wanted to. But like, here's the thing. Like, people are always like, "Oh man, I want powerful women in video games." Well, she is the world's strongest woman. That's her title, the world's strongest woman.
No denying that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fight her for that. I'm not gonna fight her. Shit. Have you seen that lady's fluttering bird kick? It's ridiculous.
It's mind blowing.
It's like it's Chun-Li. But anyway, we kind of got off topic, but that's what we do around here. So your guys' thoughts on, you guys bring up whatever old cartoons you think you don't want to see brought back in the form of live action TV.
Wow, I need to think this one.
Digimon? That shouldn't be
but they could totally do a live action Digimon though.
If done right.
I mean, could you imagine if they did a mixture of CGI and practical special effects? Because I mean, that would be horrific. Like, okay,
I was about to say, but oh gosh, has it been done wrong?
If a little tiny Agumon, if a little tiny Tyrannosaurus Rex popped out, that'd be actually horrific looking.
I was gonna say, cause idea of horrid animation with CGI in a sense. Double Dragon.
Oh God.
Wait.
I puked a little bit in my throat when you mentioned that movie.
I'm sorry, but I can't deny that I may have watched it and liked what it could offer. There's some things that you can't deny is terrible of that.
Everything, the setting, the story. Double Dragon.
Wait, you mean that Kurt Russell movie?
No.
That's something else. Okay.
The live action one.
Live action Double Dragon with Mark Dacascos, the guy who played Robert Patrick, the guy who played the Terminator, the T-1000 and T2, as Shuko, the Shadow Master, and some other guy whose name I forgot. It was not a good film. It could have been awesome, but it wasn't. Like, and I don't know how they could mess that up. Look, two dudes beating the shit out of tons of villains to save the girl. That's it. That's all it was supposed to be, and they messed that up. It
was a simplistic story. How can you go wrong with that?
That's all you had to do. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you want to think. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of a beat 'em up that totally seems like it, like a movie, /TV show that seems like it was based off of a beat 'em up and could totally be made into a beat 'em up video game. Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
The first Daredevil series, especially when Charlie Cox is playing Daredevil, the whole thing just. He seems totally just like a beat 'em up. You go level to level. Like there's that awesome scene where he's beating those dudes up in the hallway and smashes the dude's face in with the TV.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, damn, this is like Final Fight. Someone needs to make that Final Fight hack.
Right out of my mouth. But yeah, I'm quite surprised that they haven't made a Daredevil game.
Well, they did, but it was based off of that shitty Ben Affleck movie.
You know what? I didn't even thought of that. I mean, ever since they brought the show on Netflix, forget all that in the past. Those are buried and done.
Yeah, they just need to make all three of those, except no Iron Fist, because that movie, that show was terrible. That show was really bad.
I haven't seen it myself, bro.
It was that terrible? Dang.
Yes, Iron Fist was terrible. And here's the thing. Iron Fist wouldn't be considered terrible if Daredevil seasons 1 and 2 and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage weren't great. Like, you wouldn't notice how bad Iron Fist is, but because the other 3 series are so good, you totally notice how bad Iron Fist was. Like, it's bad. It's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's not even so bad it's good. It's just bad.
It's just bad, yeah. It's not even like there are movies that are terrible, but you can watch them. Like I can watch Spaced Invaders.
I really can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Like I can watch Spaced Invaders. I can watch Look Who's Talking, Look Who's Talking 2, Look Who's Talking Now.
Okay,
I can watch those. Yeah, I can watch those. I can watch Real Genius. Or Spy Hard, not Spy Hard. Damn, forgot the name of that movie with Val Kilmer. I'm gonna Wikipedia it. Man, who's looking bad these days? Val Kilmer. Jeez, he looks terrible. Oh, it was Top Secret. Top Secret. Like I can watch Top Secret. Top Secret is not a good film, but I can watch it because there's parts of it that are funny. It's a parody. It's like it's a parody in the vein of like Airplane and Police Squad, stuff like that. Police Academy. They're not good films, but I can enjoy them for what they are.
Totally wrong, awkward stuff, but man, it's quite funny.
What? Police Academy?
Oh, hell yes.
Hell yeah. Everyone had they actually had Police Academy toys when I was a kid. They had Police Academy toys. Like everyone had their favorite. Yeah.
I really wanted those toys back then.
I had one of them. I had Mahoney. No, I had a few of them. I had Mahoney, Hightower, and the human beatbox, Mike Winslow. I forgot his name in the thing, but yeah, I had 3 of them.
I am so envious. I am so envious.
See, we had, like, back in the day, they'd made toys and cartoons out of good movies, like Ghostbusters. That was a good movie, and the cartoon was equally good until they added way too much damn Slimer. But it is what it is.
Yeah, at least you got something decent out of the movie.
No, it's Extreme Ghostbusters that's when they were at their peak. For me.
I would say they're both pretty good. I would say that Extreme Ghostbusters really developed the characters, whereas the original, the real Ghostbusters was just like expanded the universe.
Too much.
No, like the Extreme Ghostbusters was really good for the first 3 seasons. The last season, they turned it into Slimer and the Ghostbusters, and they made it all about Slimer. And the thing is that Slimer's a support character. You should never make the entire series about Slimer.
Yeah,
and that messed it up.
That's like having Star Wars supported by Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, well, George Lucas tried. He tried so very hard. George Lucas tried to fit that square peg into a round hole so hard. So very hard.
Come on. I actually like Jar Jar, but I guess I'm one of the few here.
It's not that we hate Jar Jar Binks. It's just
that we despise him.
It's not that I despise Jar Jar Binks. It's just he's not even endearing. Like, C-3PO is a bastard, but he has his moments. Right? Like in Star Wars A New Hope, the first Star Wars, which they added the episodes later. It was A New Hope, okay?
Yep.
Basically there's this scene with the garbage masher, right? And he's like, "Hurry up, R2, hurry up." And everyone's screaming and laughing in joy because they finally the R2 manages to stop the garbage masher, right? But C-3PO doesn't understand that, so he sounds like they're screaming in pain. He's like, "Curse my metal body! I wasn't fast enough to save them, R2." And it's so hilarious because he thinks they died. He's like, "No, I have to go be destroyed," And it's hilarious. Like, he has his moments. Like, every character gets, like, even the annoying character has their moments. Jar Jar Binks never has his moment where it's like, wow, he gets to be awesome.
Yeah, he has his moments.
No, okay, yeah, when he stepped in the shit oh,
come on, that's his lowest moments, but
yeah, that's his moment, or at least his moments don't compare to C-3PO's moments.
Okay, yes, I can agree with.
Like C-3PO saves their asses in Return of the Jedi and gets the Ewoks to wage a guerrilla campaign against the Stormtroopers. And not only do the Ewoks wage a guerrilla campaign against the Stormtroopers, they kick their ass.
One.
Yeah. Which let that be a lesson to you. Don't fight. This is just a general lesson to any armed forces. Don't fight people who know the terrain in their own home terrain. You will. Did
anyone ever see that mysterious Star Wars Christmas special?
I did. It's terrible.
It's so bad. Yeah,
it's terrible. Like here's how bad the Star Wars Christmas special is. I would rather watch the 2 Ewok movies, which I have seen, the 2 Ewok movies. I have them on VHS, than watch the Star Wars Christmas special ever again. It's
okay, it's
terrible.
a good thing. It's a good thing
George
I've never seen it.
It's terrible.
Doesn't George Lucas do everything in his power to try to keep those movies hidden?
Well, you can get your hands on the Ewok movies because I mean they're not good, but they're not terrible. But the Christmas special is just first of all, it's not the Christmas special. It's Life Day. It's Life Day on Kashyyyk. Life Day.
Wow.
It's terrible. It's not even like so weird it's good. It's just it's horrifically bad. It's terrible. It's so bad. Like it's so bad I don't even think Dr. Feelgood would be like, yeah, I liked it. Because he has a weird proclivity of liking really bad movies.
Hey, I got my
Some people have no taste.
Yeah, some people have no taste. You know, look, let me put it this way, okay? The way I look at movies is like sometimes, like I think movies like books. You should try and read good books. You should try and watch good movies. But every once in a while, you should try to eat good food. But every once in a while, you want some junk food, and that's where bad movies come in. You want something that's just like, I know this isn't good, but I'm just gonna enjoy it. You know,
have something different.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm gonna eat this chili cheeseburger with a side of fries smothered in ketchup, and with a big ass milkshake. You know, I'm gonna eat this, and it's disgusting, but I love it. You know, and now if you ate that every week, you probably die of a heart attack in the future. But you know, once every 2 or 3 months, not a problem.
For a while.
Sad news here. Director George A. Romero dies at 77 today.
We lost another one.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. He gave us some really good zombie films. So.
You rest in peace, man.
Oh well.
But anyway, speaking of zombie movies, which I am not particularly expert of.
Let me guess. You don't like how they keep on like. It's not that I don't like zombie films. It's just like the zombie film genre peaked in the early 90s, and it hasn't really gotten any better. Unless they take zombies and they mix it with another genre like Shaun of the Dead, where it's like a comedy with zombies in it.
Cause that you know what, that's one of the very few zombie movies I actually enjoyed throughout.
Because it's a comedy, just zombies happen to be a part of it. You know, it's not about zombies. Like zombie movies kind of peaked in the early 90s, and then it hasn't really gotten any better because I mean they just zombies used to be these slow lumbering you know, moving around, and then they made them faster. They could chase you down, but then it like after a while it was like, they're zombies. Yeah.
No, it's just that there was an influx of it after the 90s, which I'm like, okay, you guys really need to step down on these things.
Well, I mean, that's what we have in books now. Like everything is zombies. It's ridiculous. It's like this is a post-apocalyptic future with zombies. Why do you keep on making everything about zombies? There's other shit out there. There's mutants.
Even in games nowadays.
Why do you keep on going with zombies, damn it? Zombies.
But then you get the occasional, ironically that you brought up the word mutant, because you got the occasional mutant / zombie as well.
Yeah, they like to throw that curveball. These aren't zombies, these are mutant zombies. What's the difference? There is none. Exactly.
Question.
Oh well, the dude was 77. He lived a full life.
Yep, with lots of successes.
Yeah. So I guess since we went to TV, I guess it's time to segue over to movies. So everyone name a good movie from their childhood that still stands up now. I'll go last.
Crap, there's a lot. Oh, well, all you guys know that I'm a Terminator fan, so the first 2 Terminator movies.
Yeah, those still hold up. Joel, you want to go?
I'm actually trying to think of it because it's been a while since but for me, I actually would say Who Framed
Roger Rabbit.
That's a good film. That's one of Bob Hoskins' best work.
Yeah.
So if you want to get more modern, I'm probably going to be cheesy for it, and The Frog Princess for that.
The what?
Yes.
The Frog Princess?
Yeah.
Was that the remake with that was set in like New Orleans and
Jewel?
I said yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Kenoshi, your turn.
Movie? That
Mm-hmm.
90s movie. Like a lot of Disney movies, like your Aladdin, your Lion King.
Yeah, but those movies hold up because that was Disney's second renaissance. Because Disney's animation had been going downhill in the early 80s. Well, in the early mid 80s, it was going downhill, and then they came back with The Little Mermaid. That was what brought back Disney's animated features, was The Little Mermaid. And then they had a string of hits. They had Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast.
Heck yeah. Oh, you forgot Snow White. Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't that in the...
That was in the 50s.
Oh, that was in the 50s. Okay.
Yeah, Snow White was in the 50s. But yeah, all of those were really good. Everyone has their favorite old school animated Disney film. I guess mine would be Aladdin.
Oh yeah.
You actually took mine.
Yeah.
You know,
but all of them are good.
I'll have to give an honorable mention with a Goofy movie.
That was a good film, yeah. And the sequel wasn't too bad either.
Yeah, not as good as the first one, but yeah, it was good.
But I mean, it had character development. Like, you found out Goofy was a child of the 70s, which totally makes sense because he's a goofy bastard. But back in the day, he had to have some game in order to get Max's mom. So. And then you find out, like, he puts on his old 70s outfits. It's like, wait a second, that totally works for him. Of course, you goofy bastard. I knew it. But I mean, that's everyone's parents. It's like everyone thinks their parents are these goofy, weird people. It's like they used to be cool. What changed? They had your dumb ass. There you go, folks. You sucked the cool from your parents. Your parents used to be cool, and you sucked the cool from them. It's your fault.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
So anyone ever says my parents are lame? No, they aren't.
No.
You came. You took away their cool. They used to be cool, and you came along.
That hurts.
Well, I mean, it's your parents aren't angry about it, but yeah. Because basically all of us has talked with our parents or, found out had as you get older, you have a real discussion with your parents. You find out they did cool shit. And it's like, what happened? Well, we had kids, and We couldn't do cool stuff anymore. Yeah, the common denominator is they had kids. They couldn't do cool stuff anymore. that's the kids suck the cool out of their parents, which is terrible.
I would say, to be honest, some parents actually still got their cool because the kids.
Very few.
Well, they just can't.
Very few can keep their cool. Even when they have kids. Kids are like, if your parents are Superman, kids are kryptonite. I was cool. No, shit. I can't go out to the club, listen to good music. Gotta take care of these little bastards. Change diapers.
I would say, I would say to, yeah, the kids were the kryptonite, but guess what? You're the one who brought them. You're the one who got them born, right?
That's what they say. That's what they say. But yeah, your parents. You realize that moment when you realize your parents used to be cool, and the common denominator for their coolness leaving was you or your siblings. You know.
I would say 50-50, but yeah.
It's like yeah, well, you know, like you tell your parents, like I remember one day I was talking with my parents and like, yeah, we went to go see like Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye in concert, Michael Jackson in concert, Aretha Franklin in concert. I'm like, damn, that's cool. And it's like, what happened? We had kids. It's like, damn, shit.
I'd still say 50-50.
But luckily, you can inherit the coolness from your parents if they're cool enough.
But I would say even for some reason, in some aspects, seems like the 70s are coming back.
Well, yeah. I mean, hell, even Sony's like, we're making vinyl again. Why'd you ever stop? Because we wanted to push CDs.
That aspect.
Vinyl is awesome. I have a extensive vinyl collection, so I love me some vinyl. But that's neither here nor there. Kenoshi, the old school Disney movies were your jam. Joel said Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Triple M said Terminator 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would have said Star Wars too, and Indiana Jones, but I'll be picking too much.
Yeah, but everyone loves Star Wars, the original trilogy, and Indiana Jones, the original trilogy. Everyone loves those films. Those films are like timeless. The first Jurassic Park.
I would say the second one as well. Third one,
not so much. Yeah.
I would have said that it would have been good, the third one, but because of the whole T-Rex being dethroned, I'm like, okay, you guys lost me on that one. That's too much for me.
I was about to say, jump in the shark.
Yeah. And come to find out, when they actually did research a few years later, the T-Rex shouldn't have gone down like that.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to say the first two RoboCop films.
Oh yeah,
RoboCop 3 sucked, but RoboCop 1 and 2 were pretty good. Especially when you factor in that it's essentially Robo-Jesus. Robo-Jesus. So, Robo-Jesus is not like Jesus. No, Robo-Jesus walks on water. Robo-Jesus comes back from the dead. But if you're caught trying to rape a woman with Robo-Jesus, he will shoot you in the dick.
That's a lie. You're coming with me.
No forgiveness. No turn the other cheek.
No forgiveness. No. He gave
Actually, the only cheek that's going to be turning is your face when he back.
Yeah, if you in a hostage negotiation, you want your old job back, an awesome car with lousy gas mileage, and two tickets out of town on first class tickets on a fast jet. Robo Jesus will punch your ass out of a window.
Here's the thing. Even though it looked like he was unforgiving, but the matter of fact, he gave you not one, not 2, 3 chances. They're like, okay, I'll just shoot the bastard.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me. I mean, and look, Robo Jesus comes back from the dead, and the guy who killed him, well, he beats the shit out of him, but he doesn't kill him. He arrests him. So, it was police brutality, but I was like, well, I'll allow it. I don't normally condone police brutality, but the dude did kill him. So, I mean, he kicks Red Foreman's ass. I always thought that was a missed opportunity on that 70s show to have Peter Weller show up as like Red Foreman's old nemesis. That would have been freaking awesome.
Oh, God.
It's like, what are you doing there, dumbass? How's it going there, Red? Oh shit. I'm gonna go sit down and shit. That was such a missed opportunity. Only children of the 80s would have realized how much. Oh, and the first 2 Batman films, Batman and Batman Returns.
Oh yes.
Those films really hold up. And I don't care what anyone says, Michelle Pfeiffer's still one of the best friggin' Catwomen live action ever.
No question. No bloody question. I mean, who can forget that whole body type spandex?
You mean skin tight?
Skin tight. Yes. Thank you very much.
That suit.
Yeah,
that suit was inspired by that cool Ohio Players song, "Skin Tight Britches."
And even though that costume covered her entire body, it still showed curves, damn it.
Well, I mean, that's why it was skin tight. But anyway, yeah, it was. Those movies really do hold up. But then we have the stuff now, which is. Was I the only one who thought Jurassic World was stupid?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No, at first I kind of enjoyed it, but then the second time when I actually looked at it critical as a fan of the franchise, yeah, why would you do that? Or just the notion of trying to do some DNA splicing, mix the two DNAs of the worst predators, and you come up with that thing. Yeah, no wonder there's a freak accident and you lost control of it.
I found Jurassic World to be stupid for that same reason. I was like, okay, like the first time I saw it, I'm like, okay, this movie has great spectacle, but if I think about it critically, this is just really stupid. They're like, okay, so we're going to take the DNA of the 2 creatures that basically all the other because Jurassic World takes place in the same universe as Jurassic Part 1, 2, 3. Same universe. So all that shit happened. So basically you have the first movie that shit went off the rails because of a T-Rex and raptors.
No, not just the T-Rex and raptors, because some anal fat bastard of a
Dennis Nedry. Dennis Nedry basically he stole the embryos, which the thing broke and went to the water, which made the dinosaurs start ovulating and breeding, laying viable eggs.
We all know what happens when you let trouble multiply.
Well, to quote one of my favorite 80s, early 90s actors, Ian Malcolm, life finds a way. life found a way. So in the first movie, but the main antagonists of that film were the raptors and the T-Rex. Although at the end of the movie, the T-Rex saves their ass because it's an alpha predator. It's like, man, fuck. like the T-Rex, like, man, fuck these raptors. I'm the biggest bitch around here. and those raptors found out that they were not at the top of that food chain. So then in the second movie, someone went and kidnapped a T-Rex's baby.
And the T-Rex mother.
And then they act surprised that the mother found their ass and just starts wiping motherfuckers out. Okay? And then in the third movie, someone steals some raptor eggs. And the raptors are smart enough to find who stole their eggs, get the eggs back, and don't kill the people who who had nothing to do with the eggs getting stolen.
They thought that the woman took them because guess what? She was the first one that went in those nests. But yes, she didn't take them. It's like cool. Oh snap!
So basically, like the common thread with all three of these films are raptors and a T-Rex. Okay, not to be fucked with. And yet we have Jurassic World where someone said, "Hey guys, let's take those two dinosaurs that fucking almost caused us to go bankrupt multiple times and killed tons of people. Let's splice that DNA together and make a new dinosaur."
That was the dumbest thing when I actually thought about it. Why
that makes no sense.
Just to make more money.
And that's why the next Jurassic World sequel, they're bringing back Dr. Ian Malcolm, who's just gonna be like, "I told you, life finds a way." They need to bring back Neil. What's his name?
The
guy who played
Dr. Grant. Grant.
They need to bring back Dr. Grant. It's like, look, man, I told you. You got fucking
coming back on this island
and shit. This is fucked up. It's fucked up, man.
Oh, you don't be on. She's close.
But yeah, I wish they would stop making remakes of old films.
Yeah,
like Jumanji. What the heck?
Why are you making a remake of Jumanji? I don't get it.
Okay, that one. Okay, I've only seen the trailer, so yes, all you see is the good parts. But I'm a sucker for that. But yeah, I actually do find it a great idea that they're actually flipping it instead of the game coming to life. No. You bastards are going to be sucked into the game.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to see what happened with or will relate to what happened with
Alan Parrish.
Yeah, how he got sucked in the game the first time in the first film.
From what I heard, with the production of that movie, when they're in the jungle, they're going to run across a treehouse that was built by Alan Parrish when he was sucked into the game, and that's how they're going to establish the link between.
That's lazy.
It's kind of lame, actually. I'm like, if you're gonna do a remake of Jumanji, why? Like, I understand what they're going for because this is from Sony and Sony likes to fuck shit up, but like they're like, okay, we're gonna have it be a video game. I'm like, I get what you're saying because Jumanji is a game and it has some type of magical component where it can change its shape apparently, but
really
I think it would have been better had they been sucked into a board game.
Yes, that actually, I wish it was that
instead of a video game, because that's lame. That's lame.
Yeah, we've been through this.
Jumanji did the board game thing, and you're calling it lame.
No, I'm calling it lame that instead of them being sucked into a board game, because Alan Parrish in the first movie is sucked into the board game, so that makes sense. But you never see what happens inside when he's sucked into the world of Jumanji.
Yeah.
And this is what this movie is basically doing. But the way they do it is, well, we're playing a video game, and that's why they have The Rock and Kevin Hart and Jack Black and some other person.
I also like the the spiritual successor of Jumanji, the one that's done in space.
Zathura, yeah. Yeah, Zathura is actually, Zathura is actually a pretty good movie.
Yep.
Yeah, because like I know there's some people I knew at the time that they didn't like that as much, but I thought I liked it. Probably because of the space aesthetic.
Well, okay, it had the space aesthetic, but both of those movies were still really dark. Like people forget how dark Jumanji is, and how dark Zathura is. Like, if you actually follow the storyline, those are two dark ass movies.
You know, with Zathura, I was actually old enough to actually understand the context, or at least what it's trying to convey. I'm like, the one thing that actually made me really think, wait a minute, does this dude actually wish for his younger brother to just disappear? That I was like, that it was, my mind got effed up right there. I'm like, damn.
Well, I mean, they were playing the game and he loses his brother. But because he's still playing the game, he basically, the future version of himself goes back in time in order to save his brother. And it's like, damn, that's pretty damn, that's badass. That's pretty damn badass. In Jumanji, all this messed up shit that happens is still, the game is still going on because the girl runs away when Alan gets sucked into the game, so they never finish the game. So basically, like, they save those kids' parents and save the town and save all this other stuff. It's actually, I mean, they're both really good films. Can Sony's new Jumanji stand up to that? Probably not. Because Sony likes fucking shit up.
To be honest, I'm actually more hopeful. I hope. But at least the one thing that really grind my gears is the whole, it's a video game now.
That cheapens the experience.
And a lot of people still play board games. I mean,
they do.
Board games are still very popular.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe Connect 4.
Maybe not as popular in America, but if you go to Europe, Japan, Central, Asia, Russia, board games are huge in the rest of the world. Here in America, not so much, but other places, board games, and it's not like a money thing. It's just board games bring people together. No.
Well, if you go to college, if you go to an American college campus, you'll see people play board games. I know at least the campus I went to, people played a lot of board games.
Well, not just that.
Settlers of Catan was a big one. I know. Not just
that. It's just like a lot of people do it. Like if you go to a Comic-Con, tons of people playing board games.
As I said, board games are still around, but at times it's hard to find unless you look in the right places.
Well, the thing is like, for me personally, I felt like the stuff that I used to play when I was a kid, I don't want to play now. Like, I don't want to play Clue. Occasionally I'll play Clue, or occasionally I'll play.
I was gonna say Clue was that bad.
No, it's not Clue. Like, I don't want to play Sorry. I don't want to play Uno. I don't want to play.
Because you played them 5,000 times.
Yeah, from when I was a kid. The only that I can still kind of play now is Jenga. Just because I like doing I like messing with people. Jenga.
Yeah, definitely not with that one.
Or giant Jenga, where you've got like the giant blocks. That's fun too. Although giant Jenga is really hard to play.
Yeah.
Not hard as in difficult. I mean hard as in like the actual the box that has the pieces. If you had like the really high end set of giant Jenga, the box is like 50, 60 pounds of wooden blocks. I mean, it's heavy as shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like it's a road trip.
Yes, I remember.
That'll break something.
No, giant Jenga is something that you have at your house that you play when your friends come over. Giant Jenga is not something that you travel around with. Giant Jenga is.
You'll break something with that game.
Yeah, well, Johnny Jenga is fun, but it is. I mean, I don't have that set, but I have a friend that does, and he is. I'm like, dude, when you move, if you move, that set's gonna be a bitch. And you better not lose a brick because you're gonna be mad if you do. I have a Donkey Kong themed set of Jenga.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So yeah. Actually, I got the Donkey Kong set of Jenga from when the Nintendo Club Nintendo still had really good things, and I got it like I jumped on that back in the day. So yeah. So I did not buy that. I did buy it because if you include all the little points I saved up, I spent like $500 worth of I spent $500 worth of games in order to get a Jenga set that I could probably buy now for like $50 because it's a novelty. But yeah, I really do think that board games, like, I think they need to let stuff go now. I think
they
people
need
Yeah.
Hollywood needs to just leave stuff alone. That's what they need to do.
like I hate to say this, but I'm tired of Batman. Like, I'm Batmaned out.
Wolverine
There's
needs to
some
go.
things that you.
I mean, haven't we heard enough of his origin story?
Well, I mean, they're done with Wolverine. They're done with Wolverine. Like, Logan was they have to do something else now. Because Hugh Jackman was getting kind of old, and he still looks great for his age, but he was like I'm tired. I'm tired.
He's been Wolverine forever. Like, how long has he been Wolverine?
For 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Because remember, almost 20 years. Like almost 20 years at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's a long. I mean, Wolverine, like, physically speaking, Wolverine's a hard character to play, because you have to be in really good shape.
Joel, I muted you because we could hear your Ever Oasis gameplay. But yeah, like I really got tired of Wolverine. I think Batman needs to go someplace. Like, I'm tired. Like, after the Chris Nolan films, after Batman v Superman, I'm tired of Batman. Yeah, I said it. I'm tired of Batman. Look, the only way I'll come back and watch a Batman film is if they get Michael Keaton to play old Batman and they do Batman Beyond. I'd watch that.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of Bruce Wayne Batman. Like, I've had my fill.
To be honest, if Warner Brothers didn't okay the Nolan films, the trilogy Nolan films, then at least we had a breather until they came up with competing with Marvel. Yeah, I agree with you.
To tell you the truth, I didn't like the Nolan Batman films. I mean, when I say I didn't like
they're overrated. I like the second film, but I think that film.
I mean,
I enjoy it.
When I say I don't like them, I don't mean I acknowledge them as being well shot films.
Continuity errors.
Yeah, as a Batman fan, they're not good. What I'm saying is, like, if you know anything about Batman the character, like, I mean, I think they should have had someone who actually understood Batman's the comics. I think they should have followed the comics a little bit more. Like the first, like, Batman Begins should not have had Ra's al Ghul in it or the Scarecrow. Batman Begins should have all just been Batman taking care of organized crime in Gotham City.
Thank you. I really would have gone with that. And then
That's all it should have been.
And then they're doing this with Gotham, but yeah,
it's too late now because it doesn't make sense for Gotham to focus on them taking on organized crime in Gotham City, because the whole point, like, if you read any of the, like, origin Batman comics, basically here's the continuity, okay? Bruce Wayne's parents are murdered. He's raised by his butler. And then, once he reaches once he turns 18, he travels the world. He goes to Japan. He goes to some place in Tibet where he learns how to focus himself, not from Ra's al Ghul, but from an actual Tibetan monk guy named the Master.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he becomes Batman. He in the first 2 or 3 years, he cleans up Gotham City against the organized crime. But he creates a power vacuum, a total and complete power vacuum amongst the criminals. And that's when you started getting the Penguin, the Joker, the Riddler,
yeah,
Catwoman. You got the weird, freaky villains, Egghead.
I wish they could have gone for that. I wish they could have gone for that.
So the first movie should have just been Batman cleaning up Gotham City. That's
exactly.
Just against organized crime. And then at the end of the movie, you could have had the crime bosses who were in jail are look, we're going to be in jail for the next 5 or 6 years, but I know a guy in South America who we can take care of this Batman. But in the meantime, we're going to be in jail. So there's we got everyone's watching us. And then the second movie, you could have had the Joker, not Two-Face, just the Joker. And then the third movie should have been Bane, but no Catwoman. Because that just felt the third movie felt like they were trying to force way too much shit into this.
Oh
film.
yeah,
it's this guy's name's Robin. He's a police officer. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? No.
Although I will give him props for creativity, but at the same time, it was at the cost of.
They pulled that shit out of their ass. But you know who wrote the script for Batman Begins?
Who?
David Goyer. David motherfucking Goyer. Batman Begins, Batman, the second Batman film, The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight. So here's what people need to understand. If someone says David Goyer is the script writer, that shit's gonna be garbage. just like that Man of Steel movie was garbage.
Not exactly garbage.
Just like that Batman v Superman film. Garbage.
Okay, that
you write all the scripts of those movies?
Basically, if David Goyer is the script writer, it's going to be bad. He wrote the script for Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider 2, and Blade 2, and Blade 3. Now, those movies, whether you like them or not, have terrible scripts.
He done the first 2 Blades?
Yeah. Look, I enjoy it. Look, okay. Those Blade movies are good because Wesley Snipes is actually giving a shit while he's making the first 2 Blade movies. They're not good because of the script. The script was written by David Goyer. David Goyer is a fucking terrible script writer. He wrote the script for Daredevil. The Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, David Goyer is the kiss of death for a film. It's this script was written by David Goyer. Oh, shit. That's how we got in Man of Steel. Superman's his dad's yeah, you don't need to save anybody. I don't know. Yeah, no, really, no, I'm 3 feet away from the hurricane shelter. No, I mean from the tornado shelter. No, man, I need to stay out here and die. I'm 3 feet away. But I need to. Yeah, that was some bullshit. But that was David Goyer.
Yeah, I wish they made Clark a little bit more selfish to actually save his father.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But and the saddest thing about the the Man of Steel film is that, in my opinion, is that in DC in Warner Brothers DC cinematic universe, is that they're trying to get all this shit, but it's totally unearned. they're like, well, Superman dies at the end of Batman v Superman. Who fucking cares? There is nothing endearing about this Superman. The only thing that might be interesting about this Superman is if he comes back and he's fucking pissed and he tries to kill Batman. That'd be kind of interesting because Batman fucked him over. But aside from that,
I would go that.
It would make sense.
I think DC's done.
Nope, it wouldn't make sense to me.
It would make look in light of Man of Steel, where he fucking was killing people and destroyed like 70% of Metropolis. And
it wasn't just him.
Okay, fine then.
It was by force.
Okay, fine then.
He was led.
Okay, let me put it this way. Okay, Superman's character in the comics, even now with all these little shitty revamps they've been doing, if he's fighting in a populated area, he'll try his best to take it out of a populated area. This Superman's like, fuck that. Yeah, I'm destroying half of this city. These dudes are really powerful. I gotta do the best I can. So yeah, he destroyed 70% of the fucking city. Okay.
Again, not by his own volition.
That doesn't fucking matter. If you get in a fight in a bar and you're fighting another dude and between you, the two of you fight and destroy half the bar. Zod went straight in that city. You've seen it. Fucking blame for it, okay? Period. Okay,
yeah,
that's
of course,
just how it is.
He was in that city for the most part.
That doesn't matter.
So what? You want Superman to just fight the other way? Let
me put it this way. Batman blamed him, and Batman tried to kill him. Okay, so that's we're gonna go with that. Okay, so then you get the second movie, right? Batman v Superman. This dude fucking. This dude, like, okay, he destroys 70% of the city. This freakishly strong.
Again, but not by his volition.
Yeah, he destroys 70% of the city, and then we're supposed to give a shit when this psychotic Batman basically tries to stab him with hits him with kryptonite for like 30 minutes. I'm supposed to care when he dies? Like, really? I'm supposed to be like, oh, that's so terrible.
Superman didn't even get stabbed by Batman. Come on. Not
to mention that lame ass Martha. You know that name.
Okay, yes, I'll give you that. But then I could bring up the argument that Batman really went batshit crazy.
Yeah, it was the whole movie was just bad. The best part about
no points.
The best part about that movie was Wonder Woman, but she was only in like 15 minutes of the movie, so that tells you 15% of that 2.5 hour long movie was worth watching. That is that's sad. So very sad.
Yep.
So very sad. And now they're like, well, Justice League is being done. I'm like, maybe Joss Whedon can turn it around, but probably not, because David Goyer wrote that script, and David Goyer is
he's writing the script to Justice League.
He wrote the script for Justice League. Justice League has been mostly shot. Joss Whedon has kind of taken over now that Zack Snyder's like, I can't do this anymore. My kid committed suicide. I got to go take care of that shit. So, and look, I'm sorry his kid committed suicide, but fuck, is he a terrible director? I mean, he is. Look, if there's an established IP that people know, don't let Zack Snyder handle it, because he's gonna fuck it up, like he did Watchmen. And I
actually heard from a lot of people that was a decent movie. Actually, some people were bored with it because it was too close to the comic books.
No. Okay, let me put this. If you're familiar with the Watchmen comic book, like you actually like really familiar with it and a fan of it, Zack Snyder's movie has fucking nothing to do with it. Like, he has the characters, but he completely misses the point. It's like it's like Great Expectations is about how is about one good deed can change people's lives fantastically. That's what Great Expectations is about. Like, and yet, if someone made a movie about Great Expectations that didn't deal with how one good deed can change people's lives, you would be like, this is fucking offensive, because that's not what it's about. Like someone completely, or To Kill a Mockingbird is about how family is about more than who you're related to. Like, that's what it's about. If they made To Kill a Mockingbird, like another version of To Kill a Mockingbird, and it had nothing to do with racism, nothing to do with families about more than who you're related to, you'd be like, this shit's offensive. So, I mean, for someone to make a comic book movie that has fucking nothing to do with what the comic book is about is offensive. And that's the problem with Zack Snyder, is that Zack Snyder can give you a movie that basically Zack Snyder seems to me like someone who makes movies about comics that he doesn't actually read. He just flips through the pictures, looks at the pictures, and he's like, yeah, I can make a movie about that. It's like, did you read any of the dialogue? No.
The context behind the dialogue?
Yeah. He doesn't get the context behind what he's...
Oh, welcome back.
There's too much money and time to be wasted. All right,
What happened?
Let's get this movie
I had a
started.
technical difficulty on my end.
No, that's okay. He has no idea what he's doing. And I mean, look, I'm sad that his daughter died, but listen. Zack Snyder was the wrong person to put in charge of
the DC universe.
The DC universe, yeah. Like Man of Steel, instead of them trying, because Man of Steel was basically Zack Snyder trying to do the first two Superman films himself in one film. And it sucked because the first two Superman films are done really well, and you can't top it. Like, Zack Snyder is not good enough a director to top it. Like, there are directors who top the original. Like, David Cronenberg did a remake of The Fly. His version is way better.
How can we watch that?
John Carpenter did a remake of The Thing, also called The Thing, and his is way better than the original.
Those original names.
He kept the original name though, but it's still like Man of Steel is Zack Snyder saying, I can do Superman 1 and Superman 2, but I'm going to do it differently because I'm going to make Krypton look like shit. Although, to be fair, the original Krypton looked like shit too, but like more shitty with heavy CGI everywhere. And I'm gonna, instead of having Marlon Brando be Jor-El, I'm gonna have fat ass Russell Crowe, who knows space kung fu, because I need to make Jor-El look like a badass. God. And we don't need to have a Phantom Zone. We just send him into space, because fuck that. No Phantom Zone.
That's too good for them.
Personally, I think Man of Steel should have maybe focused on Brainiac rather than Zod, because Zod's been done and it was done better before. Like, in Zack Snyder is not good enough to do better than Donner. He's not skilled enough. He doesn't have the talent for it. So why even? It's like there's certain directors who you can't you can't do better than Paul Verhoeven. Like, Paul Verhoeven did Total Recall. He did RoboCop. He did shit. Well, I mean, those two films. He did RoboCop and Total Recall. There have been remakes of those films. Those remakes were ass because you'll never do better than what he was able to do with those films. Like, just not. It's not gonna, like, you're like, as a modern director. Well, as a modern director, you're just not gonna be able. Like, okay, the new RoboCop film, like, RoboCop in the 80s, like it was filmed in Texas, but they made that Detroit look like a dirty, grimy, gritty, crime-ridden, disgusting. Like you wouldn't want to live there. You want to
Hey,
know how
that's one place that you want to move from fast.
You want to know how they showed crime-ridden Detroit in the RoboCop remake? They had some homeless people sitting in front of a barrel fire. That was their crime-ridden neighborhood. Just some homeless people who were cold, warming their hands in a barrel fire. I'm like, you fucking idiots. No, you fail. That's an F. So, yeah. I mean, personally, I think Man of Steel should have focused on Brainiac. I think it would have been a better film had they focused on Brainiac. And maybe, maybe have maybe tie Krypton's destruction to Brainiac not telling the Kryptonians about what was really going on, which is, if you read the comics, that's actually what happened. Brainiac was a supercomputer created by the Kryptonians. Actually, he was created by Jor-El. And he basically he's like, look, Krypton's our orbit is deviating around our red sun, and we're going to be caught in the gravity well, and the planet's going to be destroyed. They're like, you can't tell anyone that. It's going to be a mass panic. Which, here's the thing: this is an advanced civilization. Wouldn't they have had spaceships?
But yet, that computer lied about everything.
Well, Brainiac wanted their knowledge, because the way Brainiac hoards knowledge, so he goes to planets, he takes all their knowledge, and he destroys the planet, which makes his knowledge more valuable. It's actually ingenious, really.
Evil genius, but genius.
Yo, Triple M, you muted yourself. I think. Yeah, you muted.
No, sorry,
He's on mute.
I had some business to attend.
Oh, okay. Oh, anyway, I thought you were, but I think Man of Steel, had it just focused on Brainiac, would have been a better film.
Okay, with that notion, I would agree with I would agree with you, since
we didn't need to see another origin story of Clark Kent. All they had to do was show Brainiac basically not telling. Instead of focusing on Zod, it could have been Brainiac, because Brainiac is Superman's perfect foil, because Superman's strength has no effect on Brainiac, because Brainiac is he's code. He's a computer program. And that could have been an awesome. You could have had Superman using his intellect. Which, here's the thing: everyone thinks Superman is, well, he's just really strong and fast and all that shit. He's actually really fucking intelligent. He's got superhuman levels of intelligence. I mean, you wouldn't know it from Man of Steel, but
Man of Steel, he didn't care.
If you read the comics, he's superhumanly intelligent.
Oh yes, even in the animated shows back in the 90s. But to be honest, that other side of Superman that other side of Clark didn't rub me the wrong way as I thought it would.
I'll keep it real. My favorite, the Superman the animated series had a really good version of Superman. And you got to see him as Clark Kent. You got to see him interacting with his mom.
No question. Yes, no question.
Like, if you really want to see Superman lose his shit, fuck with his mom. That really, the gloves come off with that one. And I know what some people are gonna say. What about Jor-El and Lar-El? Nah, man. He was a baby. He doesn't remember them, but when Pa Kent dies, that was some hard shit to watch.
That was deep.
Oh yeah.
Not in Man of Steel. I'm not talking about that death scene. I'm talking about in the '78 movie. It's hard to watch. But anyway, but yeah, I really think Zack Snyder was the wrong person, and I think that if Man of Steel had been about Brainiac, and maybe you could have had Clark Kent and Lois Lane basically trying to uncover some shit with LexCorp, and maybe have Brainiac involved with it. So so Clark Kent as Superman is dealing with Brainiac, but as Clark Kent, he's also uncovering this, the criminal deeds of LexCorp. That would have been a really interesting story. And then you could have had because the conflict between
which is, now that you mentioned that, which is another thing they could have just ripped off from the animated series. Well, not series, I mean, yes, they did that in the animated series.
Yeah, they did. Well,
there was a one-off film as well.
The thing is that the conflict between Batman and Superman and Batman v Superman is fake and manufactured. Like, it serves no purpose. You know what I mean? Like I'll give an example. Batman's like, well, you're reckless. You killed all those people died under your watch. Motherfucker, you killed people when you were getting the kryptonite. Who do you talk about somebody killing somebody?
That's the difference between the innocent and the guilty.
Yeah, but I mean, listen. If you look, not every henchman is necessarily a henchman because they're evil. I mean, let me put the best Batman movie I've seen from DC over the Nolan films was Lego Batman, because it totally told the truth about itself. It's not like beating up poor people is not the answer to solving crime in Gotham City. Why do you think Gotham City is still a piece of shit, crime-ridden neighborhood? Because beating up poor people is not the answer. If Bruce Wayne was really serious about combating crime, what he would do is spend some of that money to change the educational system in Gotham and actually create employment opportunities for people. That would stop crime in Gotham City.
Which he did in, well, at least one aspect in the Batman animated series.
Yeah, but the animated series was done by people who actually gave a shit about the
about the mythology and the lore behind Batman.
Yeah, and not David Goyer. Like I said, if anyone ever tells me that David Goyer is the writer behind any film, I'm just like, well, we're fucked. That film is fucked. That film is dead in the water. So I guess we went TV, movies. I guess we'll get to video games, and then we'll knock that out. What old school video game, in your opinion, is better than modern video games now?
No, the obvious. I'd say the obvious: Super Mario World or Chrono Trigger, or Final Fantasy III.
Yeah, this was easy. Yeah, it was
it's practically everything from the Super Nintendo.
Everything back in the day was better than the shit now. Like people are like, man, Overwatch is awesome, and it's okay. I mean, it's not.
I was about to say, Splatoon kicks Overwatch.
Splatoon is definitely a good game.
You know what?
The following like Overwatch does.
You know what, Kenoshi, I would top you, because I wouldn't even bring up the 16-bit generation. No,
8-bit.
I would argue during the N64 and PS1 did better than what most of the games are coming out right now.
Well, at least they took chances.
Yeah.
I mean,
really, due to culture, here I'm gonna be the contrarian here, but I actually really didn't like the N64.
You didn't like 5th gen?
Yeah, I didn't like 5th gen as much as I liked the previous gen. Like as a kid, I was like, oh man, these graphics, these FMVs. But now since I'm older and I look at the SNES versus the PlayStation and N64, it's like, yeah, that generation was slightly better, in my opinion.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, for me personally, I found that the third gen created a lot of genres. The fourth gen refined those genres. So the third gen created the JRPG, the platformer with a story, the shoot 'em up, both horizontal and vertical. The 16-bit gen, fourth gen refined those, right? You had those were refined. The fifth gen created the 3D platformer, the 3D fighter.
Yeah. Oh crap! What happened?
I think somebody left.
Red Fox is back. He got kicked off of his own
thing. Check to see if the stream.
No, we're still live. We are still live and going.
Yeah, we're still live right now.
Apparently, the internet thinks that we done what we said. If they manage to try to kick our host off.
Let's say he's back, but it seems like he's not completely back. But yeah, now Kenoshi, the reason why I picked fifth gen because I'll agree with you that the fourth is better than the fifth. But by saying that, the fifth is even is even better than what's going on now. So
I mean, yeah, I would say that too. I would agree with you because there was more chances taken. Man, who would have thought a game starring a bandicoot would actually take off? I mean, that's one of the most random ideas you have. It's like the most randomest idea ever. And, from
just about most of the companies, and those ideas stick.
Yeah, they stuck. I mean, they did pretty well. You know, they were able to make money off of those ideas. Yeah, that's the thing about video games. It was always doing something ridiculous or having some kind of ridiculous character in some kind of ridiculous world. That's what made video games great because you didn't
need to worry about realistic graphics, right?
Yeah, because they didn't have the technology to have, tell these grand masterpiece stories and whatever. So they had to really think outside the box. I mean, really think outside. So.
And they were definitely thinking outside the box too.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. We lost our host again.
Hopefully he'll come back because I don't know how long. But anyways, for me, I actually consider the fifth gen with the N64 being one of the last great havens before we go.
And he's back.
Yeah, my own computer turned against me. My own computer. Damn you, Google. Damn you. Damn you to hell. Yeah, I think gaming, like, I mean, before I was so rudely interrupted by my own computer turning against me. I think gaming basically, I think, like, if you follow, like, the first generation of video games created genres like Pong and like puzzle games. And then the second generation refined those. You had like Donkey Kong, Tomb Raider, not Tomb Raider, Pitfall Harry. Yeah, stuff that was put on, like, that it was refined from what came before. And then the third generation created new genres. And then the fourth generation refined them. And then the fifth generation created new genres. And the sixth generation refined them. The seventh generation didn't create shit. I don't think. Like,
I mean, everything that's been done in the seventh and even the eighth, aside from a couple of examples, Yeah, it could be done mechanically speaking. Hear me out. It's mechanically speaking. I'm not talking about graphics on the PS2.
Yeah, I mean, like there's nothing really new from like I mean, I hate to say this, and I know people say you fanboy, but aside from Nintendo, no one has really been innovating in terms of what they've been doing with their games.
Oh,
And even
yes.
Nintendo
And
hasn't really
say
been
that
innovating.
it didn't, and nobody could say that Nintendo didn't try hard to make something. And even though they were called gimmicky, they were the only ones so far box of